Hi, this is Chef Paul. We're going to be making cinnamon rolls. I'm going to be going over how you make cinnamon rolls. We're going to be using yeast for the first time, our organic leavener. This is called a straight dough mixing method. So this is a fortified dough. We're going to end up putting eggs in it. But when we make pizza, we're going to make rolls, we're going to do different things. This method is going to be used the same. So the first thing you do in a straight dough mixing method is we have to put in our liquid, okay? For cinnamon rolls, we are using milk, all right? So I got milk here. And we're going to be using yeast, so we want to kind of wake up the yeast. So you want the milk to be warm, all right? Yeast dies at 140 degrees, so we want it warm, but you don't want to bring it to a boil, or you will kill the yeast. So we're just going to warm it up. How do you know? You can just put your finger in there. If it's warm, you got it. You're at 100 degrees. It just should feel warm. Okay, so I'm going to put 1 cup in. There we go. 1 cup. All right, so we have 1 cup of milk, and then we're going to add sugar, which is a ½ cup. This is a sweet one. I'm going to put a ½ cup of sugar inside. Boom. And then I'm going to put 2 tablespoons of yeast in here. 1, and then I'm going to mix it up. And then we're going to let it this in, right? Let our yeast. All right, so yeast is going to feed on that sugar, right? So that's going to help it bloom. All right, so we're going to wait. I'm going to mix it up, and then we're going to come back, and it should start to bubble. You're going to see it start to create. It's going to start to wake up. So we're going to mix it. We're going to come back in 5 minutes, and we'll see how it looks. Coming back to our yeast. Our yeast, if you can see here, has been bloomed. So what you're looking for, it should start to bubble up. That's what you're looking for. The milk was warm. It took about 5 to 6 minutes. It's come up. So now what's in the bowl right now is yeast, sugar, and milk. All right, so the sugar's fed the yeast. It's already started coming. Now I'm going to add our fat. So for this one here, I'm adding the milk or the butter. It's a ½ cup of butter. I add that in there. So we got all that. So we got our butter in there. And this is what we call a fortified dough. That means you're going to add eggs to it, okay? So we're going to go ahead and add our eggs inside. There's an egg, 1. All right, we're going to add another one. Get another one in there. There's 2. All right, so we got our 2 eggs in there. Now, we're going to go ahead and add our flour. All right, we're going to add the flour to it. It calls for 4½ cups. So we're going to go ahead and put 4½ cups in here. Here we go. 1, 2, there's 3. Remember, they're flat every time. You got to make sure that you make it flat. There's 4. I need a ½ cup. Get 1 here. Here's a ½ cup. Boom, ½ cup. All right, now the next thing we're going to do is you add the salt. Whenever you're making a dough with yeast, you always add salt last, okay? Salt is you don't want to have that in the yeast directly, right? It kills the yeast. We don't want to do that. So we add it. This is 2 teaspoons. I'll put it right there. Now I'm going to mix it. If you were doing this in a mixer, you just go ahead and use a dough hook, but we're not going to do that. We're going to go ahead and mix it with a wooden spoon. So I'm going to mix this till it comes together, like we did our other doughs. And then once this comes together, I'm going to take it and I'm going to put it on the cutting board, and I'm going to knead it for about 5 minutes, like we did before. So I'm just going to keep mixing this. It's kind of coming together. It's got to form. Just keep mixing it until it forms. There we go. I'm going to end up using my hands. That's the only way to do this. So go ahead, get that to mix, kind of have it all come together like this. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead now, get it all off. Let me get Can I get a rubber spatula again? Here. I'm going to take it all off. Okay, and then I'm going to use my hands. Okay, so I'm going to take it here. I'm just going to use my hands. Kind of knead it again, and then once it all comes, see, I work with it in the bowl, and then once it comes together, I'm going to put it on the board, and we'll knead it some more. So I'm just going to keep doing this, get it to come together. It just looks pretty good. All I'm trying to do here is get all the dough to kind of combined. And then I'm going to put it on the board here, and I'm going to knead it again. I'm going to knead it some more. So once I get it to all combined here, looks pretty good. I'm going to get it here. I'm getting it all here now. All right, so I'm going to get it on the cutting board, and then I'm going to knead it. So we'll come back in a few minutes and see how it looks. Okay, it's been about 3 minutes now. I just want you to look at the dough. I've been kneading it again. It's starting to get smooth, and it has a smooth feel to it. So what you do, you just got to keep going. If you see what I'm doing, you put it back, you turn it. You got to use the heel of your hand, and you got to do this for 6 to 7 minutes. This has only been 3. I just want you to look at it. You can see it's starting to get smooth. So that's how it should look at about the 3-4 minute mark. I'm going to continue to knead it. All right, it's been 7-8 minutes. I've been kneading this now. It's nice and smooth. So now what you're going to do is you're going to make a ball. So you want to make it into a nice ball. So you just kind of turn it and you're going to kind of push it together, okay? Make it nice and turn. Get that nice smooth. It's beautiful. Nice and smooth. Make that nice ball. Get it good. That's what, see, you kind of get it. Form it on the bottom just like that. You want to have it look like that. It's sealed on the bottom. It's closed. It's just like that. It's perfect. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use butter, right? And I'm going to take this. I'm just going to brush this up so it doesn't stick. I'm going to put this. Whoa! Just going to put butter on here. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the ball in here. If this was pizza dough, we'd be using olive oil. So we're going to use butter again. You coat it because you don't want to get a skin. You want to keep it nice and moist. We don't want a skin on there. It doesn't stick to it. That looks pretty good. Then I'm going to take a little plastic wrap. Okay, just like that. Put plastic wrap on it. And then I'm going to put it somewhere warm. I'm going to put it over here. I have a little warm light on it. I'm going to let it go. We're going to check it in about a half an hour and see how it looks. Okay, we're back. We're going to be making the filling that goes inside of a cinnamon roll. So you're going to have 3 ingredients. The first one is going to be soft butter. All right, so it's going to call for 4 ounces or a half a cup of soft butter. That means room temperature. You're not going to do anything to it. We're just going to keep that off to the side. You're not going to mix it into our mixture, and I'll show you how you're going to use that later. That goes in the middle. Then you're going to need your cinnamon sugar mixture. We're going to be using brown sugar, and we're going to do a cup. This is a half cup measure. We're going to put a cup in. Just going to put this in, and you're going to pack it. Just pack it good. There we go. And then you're going to add cinnamon. All right, so we just get our cinnamon. All right, you're going to add the cinnamon in there, and then you can get a spoon, something to mix it with. Just kind of mix it up. So this is just brown sugar and cinnamon, and this is going to go in the center of our cinnamon roll, which actually makes that cinnamon roll with the butter. And when we do that, I'll show you how we do that. We'll come back. Okay, we're going to make a cream cheese glaze icing. It's going to be a glaze kind of that we're going to put on the cinnamon rolls once they come out. Now, I'm going to be showing you this cream cheese when you actually really need to have power equipment. So if you have a KitchenAid mixer at home, you'd use this. It could be some type of form of a power mixer that you use hand. If you don't, you will make the glaze that we did for the scones. The same powdered sugar, butter, milk one that we've done a few times already with the cinnamon bread. Use that same glaze and you put that on the cinnamon rolls. But if you do, I'm going to show you this because if we're at the school, you're going to need to learn how to use a KitchenAid mixer because we have a lot of them there. Now to start with, there are 3 attachments. We haven't gone over our attachments yet. This is a dough hook. When we do pizza, if we were to do these cinnamon rolls, you'd use a dough hook and you can use the machine. This is our whisk. We would use this for whipped cream, things like that you need to get a lot of air in. We'll be using a whisk. And then the paddle is the all-purpose one, which you use a lot, can be used for multiple things. We're going to be using the paddle today. So what I have right now is I have powdered sugar in here. All right, there's powdered sugar. I think there's 1.5 cups of powdered sugar. I have a half a cup of butter and 1/4 cup cream cheese. And I'm going to need to really whip this and really get it light and fluffy. I'm going to add a little vanilla to it, so I'm going to go ahead and add a little vanilla. Whoop, vanilla inside. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start it. Whenever you're doing this, you're going to start on low because you want to make sure it gets incorporated. Otherwise, powdered sugar will end up, exploding in your face. Now I'm going to lift it up. I'm going to start on low. What you want to do is you want to get it so the powdered sugar gets incorporated into the cream cheese and into the butter. Otherwise, it's going to blow up in your face. So as it starts to mix, I'll gradually turn this up. So I'm going to turn it up. Okay, going to turn it up. It's still coming. And then what I'm going to do here, it's starting to come together. It doesn't look like anything right now. I'm going to turn it up. Okay, we're going to let this go. And we're going to come back in 2 to 3 minutes and see how it looks. Okay, so we mixed it on low. We gradually brought it all the way up to high. It took 3 minutes. Basically, you're creaming the powdered sugar, the butter, and the cream cheese together. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of milk to it. So I'm just going to go ahead and put a tablespoon of milk inside. If I need more, I'll add more. And we're just going to get it to a run. And then when the cinnamon rolls come out, if I need to add more milk, I will, and I'll show you how we put them on. So it's been, I don't know, 30 minutes or so, and you can see our dough is risen. It looks like it's doubled. So now what we got to do is we got to roll it out. You know, it should be fairly simple. We're going to take it out. It shouldn't stick because we use butter. Look, boom, not much stuck there at all. Now, you don't use flour. Well, we might need flour, but we're going to see how much we need. So now what you're going to do is you're just going to kind of roll it out. And if it starts sticking, I will add flour to it. Oh, look at that. I'm just using my hands right now. That's perfect. It's just kind of moving really, really simple. If it starts to stick, I'll add some flour on the bottom. I haven't even used the rolling pin yet. So it's sticking a little bit there. So what I'm going to do is you just add a little bit of flour, dust it. Okay, take it down. Now we'll do it. Put it here. All right, that looks pretty good. Now what you'll do is use a rolling pin. So I'm going to use this cutting board as a guide. I used my hands in the beginning, and I'm just going to roll it out. Full rolls. One here, one here. Now I'm just going to bring it back. We're going to use this as a guide. Really easy. If it starts to stick, I'll add more flour. See how it's going? It's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's starting to stick a little bit there on the bottom. Add a little bit more flour to it. If it sticks here, you just add a little more flour to it. It's pretty good. We're getting there. Roll it out, roll it out. Keep rolling it out till you get all the way. Keep rolling it, keep rolling. I'm using the cutting board kind of as a guide. Yes, roll it out, roll it out. I'm almost there. Doesn't have to be perfect. When you use a rolling pin, it's one stroke all the way across, all the way across. Here we go. And then I'll just kind of, that looks pretty good. I'm covering the board up pretty good. All right, we're gonna come back and I'm gonna show you how we put the cinnamon filling in. Once you get it all rolled out like this and it's fairly even, and it basically covers the cutting board for this you're gonna get a full recipe and a half recipe. This is a full recipe and this will cover this whole cutting board. If I was doing the half recipe, obviously it'd be half this size. So the next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna put whole butter down. All right, so you don't want to melt that butter. So in the recipe, it called for our cinnamon mixture that we made, which was just brown sugar and cinnamon, which is right here, and then whole butter. All right, you don't want to mix it. It's easier if you lay it out. Now what I do is I actually use the paper. It's easy to spread it. This is at room temperature, this butter. It's nice and soft. And you're just going to take it and we're going to spread it all the way. This way it makes it really easy to spread. Put all of it on here. You kind of stay fairly clean. Get all this butter just using the paper. There's a lot of butter in a cinnamon roll. A lot of butter. Get all this butter, just gonna kind of coat it. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put all the brown sugar cinnamon mixture in here, and then I'll show you how to roll it afterwards. But try to get all this in there, all that butter in there. Kind of just get it laid out. Okay, that looks pretty good. All right, kind of move our mixture over. Now just using your hands, you're going to take this brown sugar cinnamon mixture. I'm going to coat it all. Just brown sugar and cinnamon. We're going to coat this whole thing up, and then I'll show you how we're going to roll it. Okay, you're going to get it all on here. Mix it. And get it all on here. Remember, this is all going to melt. A lot of sugar, so you want to make sure that you coat it. It looks like a lot, but that's what you want to get. Get it all on there. Just going to move it. Okay, get it all on here, good. All right. So we're gonna come back and I'm gonna roll this. I'll show you how to roll it. Now we got our brown sugar and cinnamon and our butter. So the butter went down first, brown sugar went down. Now we're just gonna roll it, okay? So to roll it, you're just gonna kind of take it. It's pretty simple. You're gonna roll it here. You just kind of roll them up, right? You're just gonna roll it. Try to roll them fairly tight. Keep going, rolling them up. Roll it. Going. Roll. All the way. You want to make sure you get that seam on the bottom, just like that. And I don't waste anything. Some people will cut the ends off. I don't cut the ends off. We're gonna use all this. So we're gonna get it like this, and then I'm gonna show you how you cut it. All right, so here we go. I rolled it. I already cut it in half. I don't know if you can see. So you see how you get that spiral? That's what you're trying to get on each one there. So now what we're gonna do is, now you can cut these in different sizes. You can make small ones, you can make giant ones. I'm gonna cut these, each one in 8, and I'm gonna show you roughly 8. And I'll show you how you can put it on 2 pans. I have a cake pan like one of these. These are the best if you have them. But you can just do them on a basic sheet pan. So we'll get them cut, and we'll go from there. So here we go. I'm gonna cut them. I'm gonna turn them. Maybe I'm making these big ones. I'm gonna see how many I cut. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm doing 12. All right, I'm making 12. So what you'll do is you put them on a pan. So I'll start with this one. Put them in here. And you want to put them, we're going to proof these again. So once you get them, I'm only going to cook. We'll cut this one. These will be a little smaller. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. And then you can put them on here. Now the key with it, which either way you do it, is you want to have them where they're close together, or fairly close together. And then we're going to proof them again. So when you take them, and you're going to go 4, and 7 on this one, like that, like that, and like that. That's what I got. So you're going to take them like this, and then what we want to do is we want them to double in size again. So ideally you want them to at least, if not double, 25%. You want them to proof again before we bake them in the oven. So what we're going to do is we're going to take these, and I'm going to start proofing them. You can either, if you have a proofing oven with that, or you put them in a warm place in your house and you let them set. Now, the other thing you can do to have this process go faster is you turn your oven on to 200 degrees. All right? Let it go up to 200 degrees and put your cinnamon rolls in and turn the oven off. And let them set for 10 minutes just to start the process. Let them set 10 or 15 minutes, and then take them out, and then turn your oven up to 400 degrees, and then you bake them, and they should start growing. So we're going to proof these, and we're going to come back and I'll show you how they look. Okay, so they've been cut, and I basically cut the other ones that were really big. I cut them in half again. So this would be an ideal pan if you have it. You put them in, you want to make sure they're close together. They're going to grow, and you want them to kind of stick together. These are smaller, these are a little bit bigger here. You can do a sheet pan, but the key with that is you see that they're not too far apart. You want these to grow together. Now, what I was talking about with the oven is, over here I turn the oven to 200 degrees. All right, so it's at 200 degrees, and I'm going to put these in for like 10 minutes, and then I'm going to take them out just so I can start them to proof. We put it in here, the oven's on 200. I'm going to go like that. I'm going to set a 10-minute timer, and I'm going to check them, and then I'm going to take them out. Okay, all right, we're back looking at the cinnamon rolls. So remember, I put them in an oven to warm, or 200 degrees. I turn the oven off. I let them sit in that oven for about 12 minutes or so, just to get them warm. So I could start the rising process. So I let them stay in there 10, 12 minutes. Then I put them over here, and I let them set for another 45 minutes to get them to grow. The longer you can do it, the better you want to get them. So if you can see these, see now they've really proofed. So that's what you want to have. They basically doubled in size again. And now I'm going to go put them in a 375 degree oven, and we're going to check them. They take 12 to 15 minutes, and then we'll glaze them. So I just took them out of the oven. These were about 12 minutes actually, so it's going to depend on your oven. This was at 375. So it's going to be between 12 to 15 minutes. You want to get that nice golden brown. They're nice and fluffy. I'm going to let them set here for about 2 minutes or 3 minutes, and then I'm going to glaze them. You can do these in a sheet tray. It's fine. The difference is when you cook them in a pan like these haven't been proofed. I just put them in the refrigerator. You can see the difference in the sizes. But with the pan on the side, with it high like this, you won't get as much browning, and it keeps them moisture. So you can do them in a sheet tray, it works, but if you have something like this that actually has an edge on it, like you have on this pan, it can be a square pan, whatever you got, they come out better. But they do work. I'm going to show you how we're going to glaze this now. Just put them on and just kind of spread it. Just let them spread. And that's why you want to put it on when they're kind of warm. And this is or like I said, you'd use the drizzle, which you would have if you don't. This is cream cheese. This is a cream cheese one. Or you can do the one we did for the scones, which was the milk, the butter, the powdered sugar. You just pour it on. We're just going to kind of put them on here. Get them all. This one is with cream cheese. Get them all coated. All right, just get them on there. Okay. There we go. Get them all coated. Just let them melt. That'll all just melt and glaze them. Try to get them on the sides. Just be patient. It'll melt. It'll all just melt. There we go. Nice and melted on here. Get that on there. Good. Just keep glazing. The sides there where they're kind of brown. There we go. All right, we're just about there. Looks good. All right, put this off to the side. So there you go. There's your cinnamon rolls. That's what you'll be trying to make next class. All right.